Yes. Yesterday we discussed about public access modifiers and internal access modifier. I said like both will perform same task uh, till we come across with a topic called class library. I said they both are same. From class library topic, we can find a difference. Today we are going to discuss extension part of it. Here, I declare three variables called A, B, C, which you can actually call as fields. Fields, and you didn't write any access modifier. So by default, they become private. A, B, C, all are private. Okay. Now, something important. Asha, one more interesting thing is, even if you don't write it is private, for your understanding purpose, we can write private. Not required, but still, if you write also, not a problem. So now int A, B, C are what now? They are private fields. Now what you do in main method, you're going to write what demo D equals to new demo. This is instance of demo class. And we know very well that private is not accessible outside the class. D dot A equals 19, D dot B equals 23, D dot A concatenates D dot B. Yes. But if you notice, both are errors. Both are errors. A is also error, B is also error. Why? Inaccessible. Private never works outside the class. Hence, we have a rule. And that rule is whenever class contains private members, compulsory in that class you should have at least one public method. So indirectly, private will provide security, or private provides restrictions in accessing data. Private provides restrictions in accessing data. Private provides security for data. So for that, what you're supposed to do now is compulsory one public method you should write. Public void show the method. Then what again? Now you can say A equals 19, B equals 29, A plus B, console dot write line, A concatenates, B concatenates, C. Call that method for execution. So what you did in this example now, we accessed private through public. Via public, we accessed private. Now if you run your code, then you can see that you can find the output of all those three values. 1929 result. 1929 result. Yes. Imagine a situation. If this public is modified to private. Now even method is private, field is private. Both are private. As I just now said, compulsory you should have one public method, because now show is invalid, inaccessible, because it is private. So what you do? Introduce public void display. Through public you can call private. Interested, you can even print. Same thing you print here. Now don't call show, because show is private. You can call display. Now what is the approach? First control will go to display, and from display control will go to show. After show it will come back again to display, and from display it will return back to main. That is the working process of these three. Now if these two methods now, right? You want to test also, no problem. F11, F11. Yes, output window is open. Yes, it is in main function. F11 again. Instance is created. F11. It will call display. Yes. Display will call show. It will go to show. Executes show. Over. Returns back. Then display. This is executed. Returns back. Bas. Over. Two outputs you find. 19, 29, 48.
Sir, this ABC you have declared in private method, right? Sorry, private, right? Integer int ABC. But how can you use in this private void show
No,
method?
because they are in the same class, no?
That is also private, right?
No, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That doesn't
Okay.
matter.
This
The only
this show is the method, right?
show is a method. You can use in a method, provided rule is
Okay.
they both are in the same class.
Okay. We can use in method, not in another class.
Outside the class you cannot. Exactly. Yes, correct.
Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Because private is the only one that will provide security restrictions for your data.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Another important thing. That's the reason what I did, you should not have confusion. For that reason only. This private, I access in this public also, in this display method. Private it is, but I'm accessing there in public method. Actually, that's what the point is. Whatever might be a method in a class, whether private, public, protected, in whatever it is it in a class or not? Yes, if it is in a class, you're directly accessible. Now I will change. That's what, never forget this point, please. Whenever class contains private members, to access that private, compulsory one public should be available. Compulsory. Class should contain at least one public method. So through public, we can communicate to private. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, private, I will modify to protected. Private, I'll modify to where? Protected. Yes. Whatever I said for private, the same things are applied even for protected. It means as of now, protected and private both are same. Simple to say. Try to access d dot show, you say it's error for error, inaccessible. Yes. When private was there also, you got same error. It means as of now, private and protected both are same. In previous example, public internal asset same. But now private and protected are same. Till when they are same? Till you know about inheritance. Once you know what is inheritance, there ends. From that point, we don't need to focus on. We don't need to focus on difference. Like, you can easily find out at that in the topic I meant to say. Inheritance may you can find the difference between private and protected. Till then, always your answer is both are same. Public internal, every time they are same under basics. Once you know what is class library, there makes a difference. Public will remain public only, but internal will have its changes of course. Now protected internal, as already I said, protected is connecting with inheritance, public internal is connecting class library. There in the topic we'll study class library, inheritance combination. We have one topic. At that time I'll explain you what is protected internal. Okay, right. Now coming to the next part, that what we are going to study, what is called data hiding. Data hiding, simple answer is, see, what is hiding you'll understand easy way. Public int I10. Okay, now create instance, d.i, execute, data is visible now. Yes, visible. I can see that information at runtime. I can view that data at runtime. No doubt. The moment I make private, over. Now you can't. Inaccessible. Answer. Data stored in private members cannot be viewed outside the class. That is what you call as data hiding. Data stored in private members cannot be viewed outside the class. That is data hiding. Then what is data abstraction? Important thing. Especially this data abstraction, we are going to study in my coming classes under 2 to 3 different topics of OOPS. Different topics of OOPS. Class. I'm talking about direct example. So that technical definition you can easily understand about data abstraction. Okay. Class, one company, the class name I took as company. This company manufactures MFG, manufactures a car. Any company. So it's Hyundai now. Class is Hyundai. That company is going to manufacture or manufacture a car. And what that company will do, you know, that company, before introducing that car into market, it will call 3 people to have a view of that car. Who are they? One, dealer, mechanic, customer. Three things. Now, if you look into this example, dealer will go to that company. He sees the car and he'll be bothered only about investment. How many cars he has to purchase and what should be the price he has to make for sale and how he should make profit. He'll be concentrating only on that part. He is not bothered about how the car looks like, what is the color of the car, what is the internal mechanism of the car, what is external things available in the car. He is not bothered. Any color car, that fellow's target is to make a sale. Simple analysis. Okay, exactly same way. All of them are using car. That is interesting part. Dealer is also using car. Mechanic goes to the car. And mechanic is also not bothered about how the car looks like from outside. What is the seating capacity? What new techniques there? He is also least bothered. But when mechanic goes to car, his work is to only know what is the mechanism applied in the car. That fellow will open bonnet and he sees engine, battery, what types of fuels, how are they linked, what is the. So he's bothered about what now? Mechanism of the car. That fellow is not bothered about how to make a sale of the car, what profit. He is not bothered. He's bothered only about mechanism. And as a customer, we are bothered only about outlook of the car. Outlook wise, how it is. Believe me, even if you go right now to purchase a car, 100% those fellows will explain us about internal mechanism of the car, and we don't understand a single point of it because that is not our area, that is not our subject. But let's say few things you understand, few things, few 100% we don't understand. Believe me, only mechanics can understand. But what is their job? They will say 100%. There is no doubt. So now interesting thing is all of them are using car, but all of them are not bothered about complete car. They are bothered only about their requirement. Now keeping this example in view, we define data abstraction means process of creating new class extracting better process of extracting relevant information while ignoring irrelevant information. Yeah, data abstraction. Extract relevant, ignore irrelevant. Simple to analyze. What is important, focus on that. What is not important, ignore it. That's it. Why to bother unnecessary considering everything which is needed and which is not needed? It's of no use. What is needed, consider. What is not needed, ignore it. That is called what? Data abstraction. Data hiding, what I said? Private. Target was private. Data stored in private cannot be viewed outside the class. That was data hiding. Data abstraction is what is data encapsulation. Simple. There is no confusion at all. When I use the word capsule, I mean to say towards like pharmaceutical side I'm talking about. Medical side I'm talking about. Capsule. Simple. That which is consisting of what? Multiple formulas. Capsule consists of multiple formulas. Set of what I said, formulas. How is it connected here? Here also same. One method for inputs, one formula. One method for calculations, one method for comparisons, one method for loops, one method for output. Every block has its own job. Input block, only inputs. Okay. So how do you define now data encapsulation? Simple. It is a process of grouping data members and member functions. Data members and member function.
Sir, could you please explain data encapsulation with some example or something?
For example, data encapsulation, when I say, just imagine I take an example of, say, for example, employee. Class employee. Employee consists of employee ID, employee name, employee salary. Three things. So what I'll do now, I'll create one method, and in that method, I'll write input statements for ID, name, salary. Then I create one more method with a separate block for calculations. In that calculations, I'll calculate annual salary of that employee. Annual salary of that employee. And finally, to produce output also, I will write one block now. So it means how many blocks now? Three. See, first class employee. You'll have ID, you'll have name, salary. Then block name, store. That will store values. Calculate. That will calculate annual salary of the employee. Display. That will produce output. Now what did you do? We are going to group all of them. Class, program. How do you club them? What is the process? Write main method. And we say employee equals to new employee. What does it mean? E becomes an object which is encapsulated with three blocks and three members, grouping data members and methods into a single unit. E becomes one object containing all. In that, again, different private, that is, we are not concerned about those things. My point is whether private, public, protected, or whatever might be there, all are there in the object or not. Answer is yes. Depends on access modifier. Otherwise, it doesn't give you any error. If you feel so and so is accessible, go for it. Not accessible, skip off. Okay, Srinivas, did you understand now?
Yes, sir. Understood.
That is data encapsulation. Right? Okay. Multiple methods, multiple fields, all are clubbed into one object. Over. Data encapsulation. Okay. Now, next topic that we are going to study, it is called kind of parameters, in which first it is called required or input parameters. Second, output parameters. 3, reference parameters. 4, optional parameters. 5, named parameters. 6, named parameters. Required or input parameters, output parameters, reference, optional, named, and one more is there. 6 parameters altogether. Parameters. Altogether, six parameters. So let's begin with first one, required parameter. So this will actually have a small confusion because I'm going to cover one example for all. So if you focus everything thoroughly, then this topic, just like that, you can understand, and C# becomes simple. C#, ASP, everyone becomes simple. You get confused here, then put your efforts. Little confusion definitely will be there, but follow my point, what I'm saying, so that things become easy at your end. So what do you say finally? How many types of parameters you say, and what are they called? They all are called kind of parameters. They are called kind of parameters. Okay, let's begin. Simple, please listen carefully. Simple. First, what you do, create one field, public integer I. Okay, declared one field. That's moreover public. Now requirement. I want to give. Sorry, before I go, one field I created. Instance of the class is ready. Now I'm declaring integer n 90. This is local variable. What is this? Field. What is this? Instance. Instance, local variable, field. Now what is my requirement, Local variable value I want to give to I. The first point, where is local variable? In main. Where is main? In program. Now simple point is, I have one local variable in a method of a different class, and that value I want to give to another class field. Simple. You can just write a statement d dot I equal to n over. But display also I equals to plus d dot I. Confirm I will return 19. Yes, simple. Now you know. Now this has become simple. I said that data of one class copy to another class, or data variable created inside a method, that is local variable, its data you should copy to another class field. I did, and successfully it got executed. Now what they'll do, question, slight change. Now they ask, how do you do the same task provided if your field is private? But now headache starts from here. If this is private, that's over. Both are errors now. First point, I is not accessible, error. You cannot print I, error. Question even I have not changed now. No, my question is still remains same. I want to give this local variable n value to I. Earlier, hardly 2 lines of code we are done. And simple is the task that I should say d dot I equal to n. And displayed also d dot I. But now, no, should be a little cautious. Because now you're doing this process for private. Accidentally, we cannot. Highly impossible, we cannot. Then only one alternate we have. What is that alternate? Create one method. I'm going to create now. Which method? Show method. I'm going to create inside demo class. And what is it? You're calling this method. Where do you want to write? Obviously, you have to write in main demo public void show. Okay, error is gone. Yes. And what you have to do, what you have to do, this is function method definition, method body. This is method call. Method call. So now you're calling a method show sending n as word, important word. Sending word, important. I said sending argument. Sending argument, or also called original argument. You don't remove, you just remove n, you don't have error. The moment you put n, we got an error. Yes. Now this n, whatever might be it is containing, I have to receive it here. See, now error will go integer integer x over. What has happened now? What exactly you did? You are calling show method, sending n as argument, and n is containing a value called 19. Who will receive? X will receive. So X is called receiving parameter, or it is also called formal parameter. What is n called? What is n called? Sending argument or original argument. What is X called? Formal parameter. Formal, or it is called what? What is it called? Receiving parameter. It means whatever is there in n, X will be copied into it. It means n is containing 19, that is copied to X. Means indirectly X is 19. And you assign I equal to X over display I now. I equals to plus I. Control F5. I should get 19 now. Yes. But see the approach, how much it is. And believe me, this is the only technique now you have. This is the only technique. There is no alternate. And this problem has come, and this much of code we have written only for one reason. And that reason is I has become private. If it is public, this much of code not write. Hardly 2 lines, you're done with your requirement. And you're calling a method d dot show of n. I said method call. You're calling a method. But now we have to justify every term here. Every term. Just saying is not enough. What is I? What is I? Field. What is n? Local variable. What is x? Parameter. I. Field. Brackets mentioned field. What is n? Local variable. And you're calling which method? Show. Sending what? N. N is what? No doubt local variable. But what do you call when you write inside a method which you're calling? You're calling a method show, and inside it you're sending n as argument. How do you know that it is argument? Simple. Remove n. Error it is. Error. Put your cursor on the error. Read the message. There is no argument. It doesn't say there is no local variable. It doesn't say. There is no. If I give that n, yes. If I give that n here, yes. Now whatever we have the value in n, that is copied to x. Whatever the value we have in n, that is copied to x. That is the reason this is called method call, sending n as argument containing a value. Instead of saying this much of big sentence, simple is to conclude it as call by value. Call by value, calling a method, sending value as argument. X will receive. Now don't remove n. Don't remove n. It's wrong if you remove n. Don't remove n. Value, I mean to say. Don't remove n value. The moment you remove n value, over. Error it is. Because x is dependent. X requires an input. X requires required parameter. X is called required parameter, input parameter. So it is dependent on the value of n. If n is 19, it means that n value is copied to x, and that x value is copied to I. Display I over. That's it. Okay. From my side, I'm done about required parameters. From your side, you have any questions that you want to ask me on this topic, you can. Okay. Anand. Okay. Okay. Any doubts you have, you can ask me also. Any doubts? See how much security we have if it is private. Just because it is private, this much of story we have to do. And 100% when we are using OOPS, target is to provide security. And security will come into picture with private. Chalo, right. This is interview query actually. What they'll say, they'll give this program, interview. They'll give the program and small modification they'll do. They'll say x equal to I. And they'll ask you to write the output of the program. Fine. You both go through this code, and whatever value you feel that I will display, that value you send me to chat panel. Make it fast. Go through that code, and this keyword interviews में they'll ask what is this keyword. You should say this keyword is used to differentiate between local variable or parameter and field when they are with same name. And always this will access fields using dot operator, this dot I. At both the ends, if you write this, again you're doing same thing. Same thing you're doing. You're assigning again field value to field of no use. Now makes point parameter to field. And we have many other usages of this keyword. Today we have come across to study about one. I'll stop this session here. Next class we'll discuss about other parameters, other topics. Next class we'll complete of all the other parameters in next session. Okay. Today I'll send the notes. I'll upload